Hey everyone, it is Tiffany.
And I'm Matt.
And we are here to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp. This will be a spoiler-free review, so don't worry about getting anything spoiled for you. We know better because the MCU is a cherished franchise and we would never do such things.
We would never. We respect this franchise.
First takeaways for you for this particular MCU film?
It was good. It was a lot different than Infinity War. It kind of is a light-hearted, very funny. So it was not like the emotionally draining Infinity War. Yeah, it was really good to kind of laugh a bit and enjoy another great Marvel film, kind of like the Thor Ragnarok kind of was, in that kind of tone.
Yeah, it feels a lot like the first Ant-Man. We know Paul Rudd had a part in writing the first Ant-Man, so if you're a fan of Ant-Man 1, you're gonna love Ant-Man and the Wasp. It feels right on par with like the vibe and the tone. And like Matt said, it's such a great palate cleanser. I was weeping after Infinity War and I left this theater like in a pretty good mood. I was like, that was a really fun, enjoyable movie.
Yeah, maybe not one of Marvel's like strongest at top of the top of the top, but it was. I mean, if you loved Ant-Man 1, you're gonna love Ant-Man 2. It's the same kind of comedic take. I mean, everyone comes back, and if anything, there's more of it's now we have Wasp.
Wasp is so cool. We finally get to see Hope in her full-on Wasp costume, kicking some butt, taking some names. She is so great. Like I am so happy to have another like really powerful female superhero in the MCU, and she does not let me down. She is so cool. She takes no crap from anyone. She's totally great and like super strong on her own.
If anything, I would say this is kind of Wasp's movie. If you can tell by some of the posters that are going around, Wasp is in the front, Ant-Man is in her back.
I love it.
Which definitely shows the tone of, what they were going for, and I think Wasp got her movie, and it was pretty cool. Where like Ant-Man kind of becomes her backup.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting about the Ant-Man movies as part of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, like as a whole, is they feel like the most family-friendly MCU movies. Like the comedy is very appropriate for all ages. There's a lot of fun stuff for kids to really enjoy, including like kids in the movie, because we know Ant-Man has a daughter and you get to like see part of their relationship as well between her and Scott Lang. And it's really about like family and parents and fathers and daughters, and it feels so much more family oriented that I feel like everyone of all ages can actually really appreciate and enjoy.
Sure. And this film takes about 2 years since in Civil War, kind of I think where we saw the Avengers in Infinity War. So Scott has had more time to bond with his daughter because they were kind of estranged in the first film. So you kind of pick up on that they've grown closer. His ex-wife, they've all grown closer to him. But he's in where we pick up is he's a bit stuck. He's stuck at home.
Yeah, you basically find out that he's been under house arrest for the past 2 years since Civil War. So we're seeing this movie kind of happen in conjunction with, like, at the same time as Infinity War is going on, if you want to know like where that gets placed in the MCU timeline. So we're kind of going back a little bit. So if anything, it's kind of like it's almost like a follow-up to Civil War instead of a follow-up to like Infinity War. So we're kind of jumping back in time a little bit.
This is very much a follow-up to Ant-Man 1 and the Civil War, because Civil War we last saw him, in Germany, being Giant Man, and then getting, arrested and then eventually being freed by Steve Rogers at the end of that film. So this is where you find out that he went back home and he's under the government house arrest for 2 years, which is a long time to spend at home.
Yeah, it is a really, really fun movie. Everybody's dialogue I think is so funny. Everyone is like pretty sharp.
Everyone's comfortable now in their roles, yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is just, it's how Paul Rudd really writes. Like, everybody gets their own funny moments, everybody gets their own quips, and it all kind of has like a great flow.
Paul Rudd has his own style of comedy, and there's a lot of writers on this film, but yeah, when it's Paul Rudd's type of comedy, and that's kind of why I've always loved Paul Rudd, so seeing him be this superhero is great.
What I really think is cool about this movie is they really push the whole concept of like growing big and then shrinking really small. They kind of push the boundaries on that. Like, at this point, we already know kind of what Ant-Man is capable of. Like, we know that he can grow 60 feet tall. We know that he can literally be the size of the ant. We know that Hank Pym can control ants with his little, like, device. So there seemed to be, like, a lot of fun really playing with that and pushing it further. We're seeing, even from the trailers, you can see, like, the big Pez Hello Kitty toy, like, gets blown up. We see a salt shaker get blown up. So there's just a lot of fun elements of, like, really kind of unexpected things, like growing and shrinking, which makes really cool fight sequences.
We're done with the whole origin thing, which is perfect, because then we can really, like, enjoy enjoy all the action, because we don't need the origin of how everything works anymore. We know that from Ant-Man 1, and we can just jump in and be like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, and it really does have a place in the MCU. We get mentions of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the movie. We get references to Captain America and the other Avengers.
Yeah. But not so much that it could, if you only seen for some reason, you've only seen Ant-Man 1, you watch the second one, you'll be like, all right, I got this. Like, you don't need to know, too much of anything. I don't think so.
Not really.
I don't remember.
It's kind of like in the sense of like Black Panther, where if you don't feel like completely caught up, you're not super lost in what's happening in this movie. So, it's great.
Yeah,
like,
should we talk about the villain?
Yeah, Ghost. We get introduced to a new villain, Ghost, which you see from the trailers. She can kind of phase in and out. So she can go through people. She can go through walls. Yep. She has a very, I would say, Ant-Man specific issue that she's dealing with, and trying to, like, her own journey is directly related to kind of the Pym technology, and it's kind of like the
Pym's
only
days
way.
At S.H.I.E.L.D. and yeah, we don't want to go into it too much. There's a reason why her, her background has been shrouded in mystery up until the movie, so we'll keep it that way.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to see the fight sequences with her and Wasp. I think that was like one of my favorite moments.
The fight sequences where Wasp was probably my favorite part of the whole movie. I mean, the whole movie is kind of a chase scene in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, the last movie was kind of a heist film. This is like the chase scene of that heist film. And there's so much action from the Wasp and really good stunt effects.
But just imagine a chase sequence where a car can shrink down to the size of a little toy car and then blow up again. Yeah. That's like such an interesting, cool element that we've never, literally I don't think I ever have seen in any other movie ever, a chase scene where a car can, like,
totally different chase scene for San Francisco, because that's kind of where most of this movie takes place in San Francisco. So, because if we've all seen the chase sequences from Bullet or from The Rock, but this was like, yeah, you haven't really seen a chase sequence like this one.
Yeah, such a good time. And the whole theater that we were with, everybody was like laughing at parts. Everybody had like...
Yeah, everyone has a good time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun in the theaters. It hits theaters July 8th. Tickets will be available soon, if not now already, if you want to keep up to date with the MCU. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you really got to see this movie. There are 2 post-credit sequences.
Oh, yeah.
Stick around. You guys know better at this point. Stick around through the credits.
They're important.
It's pretty important. It really plays into the bigger picture of a whole as an MCU, so it's going to have a lot of weight to it. I'm excited to see it again. I see every MCU movie like a few times. But yeah, I think this will be a lot of fun. So let us know if you guys are excited to see Ant-Man and Wasp. Give this video a thumbs up if you were excited to see Wasp specifically, because I was, and she was so cool. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.